still having tea.
All right. Good morning, everybody, or whatever time it is. If you're listening to this right now, episode 6, Crafty. Morning here. It's today. What is today? Thursday?
And that's craft tea. Now, 2 separate words.
Yeah, Craft Tea. I was told to change the name.
SEO things, you know.
So the name has changed.
Now I don't have to keep explaining the joke. Get it? Crafty, craft tea.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't feel like... What is today? Is today Thursday?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, you said that out loud. I'm stuck. I'm real stuck today. Maybe because I'm not traveling.
No travel.
Sitting my butt in this seat and actually staying here for a full week for a while.
This is the first time I think we don't have a rundown of where you've been or where we've been.
I'm not upset about
Since
that.
we started the show, because 6 weeks, yeah, pretty much. And, well, we had travelers here this time. Your parents came in.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I mean, I was about to say it wasn't so bad, but that's kind of offensive to my parents, but that's not how I meant it. Everyone knows how it is when their parents are down. Well, around? I don't know. It was fun. We did Topgolf. Topgolf was fun.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was good. I was good.
That's 2 times we went to Topgolf in the past, month.
I'm not upset about it. I kind of want to go again now that we played the Angry Birds game. I liked it.
That was fun.
We had off topic, but still interesting, a lot of good Netflix hits this week for us. No, Netflix, Hulu, because the Built America shows that I can't stop watching are on Hulu. I was learning about TVs last night. Couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm stuck on the Serial and how that started, and I'm stuck on the damn don't pick up the phone. Are we allowed to talk about that? Should we just tell them, go stop watching this, quickly go watch all 3 episodes of Don't Pick Up the Phone so that we can come back here and discuss this crazy documentary, unless you've already watched it. In that case, you're safe.
I'm actually kind of let down by the end of it, but...
I was let down by the end, but holy crap, how did he get away with it since, what was it, 94?
Mm-hmm. Over a decade.
And I'm sorry, guys, I'm still getting over a cold, so you're going to hear me do all that nasty cold stuff.
I think I'm actually getting towards the tail end of it. It's taken about 2 weeks, but...
It's definitely over, it's just
starting
hovering.
to be able to breathe a little bit better.
I feel like we're both meh today.
Weather's starting to break. Well, it's just exhausting. It's been a long week already. We're at the tail end of the week, but there's just the mega sale, obviously. We talked about that. I think that was where we had the first epiphany that we missed it, was the last craft tea. And, obviously putting it together isn't too hard because we do 4 of these a year and we've been doing it for a couple of years now. So it wasn't too bad. And fortunately, being able to just pivot when things are thrown your way, it's something that you have to kind of do with the business side stuff, like with the incentive with the beanies and the measuring tapes that we did. That was never even an intention, I think that's something to talk about is just having to kind of think on your toes a little bit. We're so backwards with everything because we have other projects that we can't even talk about yet that we've been working on and being focused on. And then on top of the projects that we can talk about, which is like all the content that we're constantly shooting to make sure we stick to the schedule every week. All the conventions we talked about that we're planning, like obviously ours that we're throwing and the ones that we're participating in is a lot of planning. I still have to, I've designed the set for our booth for Creativation. That part's done, but I haven't started making it yet. So, some of the assets to it exist, which is fortunate, but I got to get to work on that.
I cleaned the room for you.
So,
which is quickly filling up, but it can get put back together.
Yeah, I mean, the space that I have, I'm on a time crunch because the space that I have to build these set pieces is also what we use to do sub boxes. And we're drastically approaching the next sub box packing stage. Like, I just had a delivery of one of the major pieces of it.
Woohoo.
Came yesterday. So I was getting a count of them before we started this morning.
Building a sub box is hard, you guys. That was something that I thought, you know what? In hindsight, well, let's just get into it. Yeah, it'll be some work. We'll have to forage for these supplies and put it together. But after 2 years of it, it's like, it gets tricky, but keep going.
That's what I said it from I was reluctant from the rip on the sub box thing because I understand the draw to it and I love prepackaged stuff and I like everything in a nice, ready to use kind of like presentation there. But I knew the effort that was going to be involved in the back end of it. I mean, constantly trying to come up with something new. You don't want to put the same thing in there every time, although some people might like some of the same things in there every time. So it's like now you're starting to do psychology with yourself, like putting yourself in their shoes, because I see my products every day. So I kind of almost get tired of seeing my products every day to the point of even...
They're not special
We
anymore.
can reel it right back to the mega sale. When we go to fill our prize wall up, that we're going to start drawing the first round of prizes in a couple hours after we shoot this, we have 36 prizes on the wall, and I always say that I want 50, at least 50% of them to be other businesses, because I'm less interested in it doesn't bring as much excitement to me to think about when I try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. I'm like, wow, you just won glitter for a year, which is actually like really exciting. That's like a really good prize.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But for me, I'm like, you just won something that I look at like every day for a year. And I'm like, it's not as special to me. If I was like, oh, you won a 6-pack of tumblers, for every month of the year or something, it's a little more exciting to me because I don't live with tumblers every day. You know what I mean?
Meh.
And, well, I kind of do. But...
Not in that aspect.
Yeah. No, I'm not like utterly like encompassed by them. Like glitter.
But we have them.
I am encompassed by glitter. That is a real word to use when it comes to glitter.
And you also have all of that stuff. Like, you don't have to buy much stuff. You don't have to buy many things. It's here. Like, I think I take that for granted all the time. When I ran out of bubble gum the other day when I was making my thing, I just walked my butt to the shipping room, took another one, and I'm back at my project. But other people don't have that at their whim. If you mess up on a cup, you just go to the box and you just grab another cup. But here, people that do it just make cups for a living and don't have a surplus,
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yep, it is. And I mean, that was even part of the idea behind, like I said, putting yourself in your craft, in your customers or crafters' shoes is kind of how we've created the model in like a lot of the decisions that we've made. Because it's not just like, it's never literally, you might want to try to call me on bullshit being a business owner, but it's never been a cash grab with any of the decisions that we've made. It's always been to make it make sense. Like, it's never just been like, oh, just like put something shiny on it, you know what I mean? And like justify it. Always wanted it to have like a purpose. That's why the box always wanted to expose new stuff or everything just to make sense. Obviously we are a business. We need to be profitable to maintain our existence. That's just like,
if no one knew, we are a for-profit company.
Yeah, duh. But literally always try to keep that like moral compass in mind. Like, as a crafter, is this going to make sense for me? Am I going to be able to make something that either I can justify the joy I got out of making it, or I can justify the paycheck in like being able to sell whatever I made with it because it's a superior product that I made my craft with.
You got to go where those two things meet, and sometimes it's very hard to get there.
Always trying to find that happy medium. So anyway, like to reel all the way back to what I started with just like having to think on your feet, like this sale. We always have the little magnets and stuff that we'd order to give out. And these are things that we thought of ahead of time. We were like in previous sales, and it was a buildup. The first sale was crazy that we ever had.
And I want to circle back to that when you're done.
Yeah. So that was
planning
nuts.
a sale is not easy.
We'll go back to that. But it was an evolution of like the swag items and everything. And then obviously you end up having stuff left over from previous sales. And
sometimes
I just like went and like looked at all the stuff, and we've been cleaning the warehouse a lot lately too. So we had a lot of stuff that we like found surplus of that we didn't even realize we had. So that was fortunate as well. But I was like, okay, maybe we were late on realizing all the stuff, because normally I have to order all these things in advance, these extra swag items. But the beanie was just like, and the measuring tape was just like
because
the planets aligning. Yeah, I ordered those things. We were in a discussion. We were going through our catalog, things that haven't been updated in a while. Measuring tapes were low. I wanted to come up with a cooler design. You can only go so crazy with a little measuring tape, but this one's still nicer. So I ordered those to replace the stock for 2023. And then the beanie, same thing. Like in the past, we've had a beanie. We've had aprons. We've had gloves, and we just wanted something newer, fresher, brighter.
Umbrellas.
Because our other beanie was black and gray.
It was black and gray.
Clean, but not as fun. So
It
went
lost
with the
its fun
funner
for me after it was late and made me nuts.
college style beanie with the colors and stuff.
I think it's so cute.
Yeah, I literally
work.
when we realized that the sale was supposed to be last week, and we're like, oh my god. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna have anything cool to give away for anybody. Like I'm so underprepared. And then I got my email that my beanies were gonna be delivered in a day. And then I got another email later that day that said the leather measuring tapes were gonna be delivered the next day. And I was like, light bulb.
Planning a sale is not easy. It sounds easy. You're like, oh, well, we'll just have a sale. You just put the website on sale and then you just do it.
Right.
But it's like, since our first sale, it's been going on 5 years now, right? This will be the 5th year.
Mm-hmm. This is our 5th year in business.
It's nuts. It's every single sale that we have, we learn a little bit, but we learned so much from that first sale. And I still don't understand what was wrong with us or why no one in the world said, stop, guys, stop, don't do anymore. Just knock it off, turn it off now. We went for a whole week at 40% off of our already low prices when there wasn't even that. Like, there was a ton of glitter companies in 2019, but, nothing like it is today.
Yeah,
there was a lot less to
between,
choose
like,
for.
5 of us, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
40% off for 5, was it 5 or 7 days? Whatever it was too much.
Yeah, it was too long. We can go back and find my created in paint artwork. It's always a classic when it comes up in our memories in the office. We always share it around the office because it's hilarious. Because that's also the evolution of owning the business. Like the branding was like an entire evolution. It was crazy. We talked about that previously. I feel like when we started with the fists, and then it went to the rubber duck versions of us, and then it went to Big D and the cloud logo, and then
in 2019 we had the 2 warehouses. So you were doing tumblers. You were rarely over at the glitter side. I had me, Patty. Patty was packing orders back then. I was office manager, stocker, bagger, email answerer, everything over there because Patty hadn't been moved up yet. So she was packing orders. Shannon was packing orders. Lindsay was coming in periodically to pack orders. Laura was coming in once in a while to pack orders. We had Sandy, who labeled all the glitter. Mike D was there helping out. Who else came to pack orders? Was that it? I think that was it. I don't think we pulled in. Can't remember anyone else that I would have trusted to pull in. I mean, I was getting there sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, what did we do? It was like over 6,000 orders. Whatever it was. It was
obscene. It was obscene
what
we did.
Out of control. Bags, we had, what people didn't know was that at the time we were switching from bags to shakers because we already were nailing down some wholesale accounts and we had more on the horizons, but we didn't want to put bags in their stores. We were switching the shakers to get the wholesale. We had the assembly line on its way.
You can't count on them.
No, and they were leaky all over the place. So we had shakers on the way, and we had to blow out all of that other glitter. I remember sitting on the forklift. We were probably like 3 or 4 days in, and I had promised a restock. And I'm looking up at all the bags on the shelf to see what I can restock. And here, like, we were already too many orders in. Like, someone should have came and got me and been like, Sarah, don't do that. But we had a plan in mind. Mm-hmm. We just didn't know. We didn't understand that we were going about that plan a little wrong. We were also new. We had only been in business for 1 whole year by then. And we had so many changes that happened since that November of 2018 that we never got to see what things were really like a calm. Mm-hmm. The summer might have been a little bit of a calm. But because we had just moved into the warehouse, we shut down the website for a whole month?
2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. We ended up closing everything down.
I thought it was December 9th till the new year.
But it was a long time. It was like crazy.
I didn't leave the warehouse sometimes until 7 o'clock at night.
What's funny is how much you learn from how much we learned from the experience, because that was the first one and we just weren't ready for it.
I don't even think we said like there will be a delay.
Well, the original discount, like the discount number that we talked about just kept going up and up, because I'm like, it needs to move. Like, we have to move these units because we need to clear out as much as we can so that
Well,
we
that
can
was
swap
actually
all this stuff over.
an argument that we were having because I didn't want 40% off at all.
No, you said that it's an obscene amount.
I
and I was
begged
like, I feel like people probably won't even go for that amount. And
because no one ever listens to me.
yeah, I mean, I was wrong. And it was wildly successful, and it was too successful. Like, it put us in a position that slows down everything. That is definitely a learning point. That's where the payoff, the juice wasn't necessarily worth the squeeze. I think it was almost kind of a break even by the end because the amount of time that the website was off, the amount of overtime that everyone had to work, and the amount that everyone was just burnt out.
Oh my God, I was so burnt.
Fortunately, our customers are so amazing, and we were surviving by their courtesy. Like, we were getting pizzas, and
I
actually
forgot
to the
all
point that we were
about
like,
that.
please stop, please, thank you, no more orders, because we were stacking food because everyone, that many customers, even if only like 5% of your customers want to do something for you that place an order, if
they're
we
also
had
not
6,000
talking
orders,
to each other, so
that's
they
a
didn't
lot
know,
of customers. Correct.
They didn't know that 2 people were sending us breakfast, 3 people were sending us lunch. It was amazing. I've never seen, I've seen it now that we've grown with this community, but the outreach that they did with sending us those things was very unexpected and super appreciated because we wouldn't have eaten most of those days if it wasn't for that.
It was actually like interesting because I was still doing Tumbler orders next door, and then I would try and get all my Tumbler orders done as fast as possible so that I'd come over and help with the sale orders. And I'd come over and there's like pizza and donuts. And I've been in my warehouse all by myself. If you guys listen to the previous episodes, the Tumbler side was just me. In that, granted, we were only a wall away, but you had to physically walk out the front door and then go in the other front door.
Walk through it, out, over,
and I get it. There's no
through
time to just stop and be like, hey, guys, there's pizza here. So everyone's just going. Pizza gets delivered. They didn't ask for it. It
and
just showed up.
someone in this room doesn't look at their phone
But
all
here
the time.
I am. I just no invitation to the pizza party half the days.
But if only your text messages went back to 2019.
No invite.
Imagine that.
You could just yell through the wall and even be like, pizza's here, and I would have heard. But
you would have heard over top of your blasting your music?
But anyway, we learned so much
This guy.
from that because it was funny. Now, you can fast forward to, I think it was like a year later. But anyway, the sale specifically would be our first of Sarah's birthday sale. The first time when we did that.
Yeah.
That is actually the largest sale cumulatively that we ever had.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. And
for my birthday.
it actually like eclipsed our first anniversary sale. So that's what's crazy is the concept of how we grew because we were so scared of what we did that first time. We were like, we can't put ourselves in that position again. We can't put our customers in that position again because you waited forever to get your orders. You couldn't even place new orders because the website was closed. You'd be met with us, come and see you soon. You know what I mean?
We were so much better set up for my birthday sale too because we had what? We had 6, cumulatively we had 6 baggers. 1 or 2 of them were part-time. We had 4 full-time order packers and 2 warehouse guys that were constantly building boxes, running glitter, filling the bins.
Well,
That
and
was
a
whole
major
nother
issue
story.
too was the production. It slowed a lot of things because at that time we were trying to push all the inventory that could be in back. So our original system was projected inventory is what was on the website. So even if it was not ready to go in a shaker, or I mean in a shipping box,
switched over
it
to
was on the
inventory
website.
systems.
So then we changed the system, and the only things that are available on the site are what we consider RTS or ready to ship. So if it is not already prepared, it's not on the website for you to buy. Doesn't mean I don't have stock of it. It just means that it's not ready for you right now. So that was a big change. The way the staffing was, the way the shipping was. We ended up doing, I think, 2 to 3 times actually what we did in that first sale. And the shipping was a fraction. I think like a quarter of the time. We didn't turn the website off. It was exponential, the amount that we learned and grew. So it's like fine to mess up, the first time. And just get it right, just do your best to work through it. Transparency has always been a core thing of ours. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah.
That's why everybody sent us stuff, because they knew we were in the weeds. We didn't lie about it. We weren't like, you guys,
I'm new
orders
here.
are out. And something that we don't do is just print all the damn orders, because I know a lot of companies do that, and that is a hell no
No,
here.
I can't keep up with that stuff.
Big old hell no.
You know what, though? Can we speak about stars aligning again
Yeah, go
with
ahead.
that first sale? Because that first sale brought us so many new customers, right? But a lot of them were pissed off because we were taking so long. Some of them had gone other places. It was fine. But again, stars aligning the year before, that was our first year. I know that Chinese New Year is a thing, but I wouldn't have been able to pick it out in a calendar. I would have just told you it's sometime in the beginning of the year somewhere, I think. And remember, we didn't order any glitter. We were out of glitter for like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks in 2018 to 2019. Yes, 2018 to 2019. So the year after, we got ahead of that. And we were switching over to shakers. So we had a surplus of glitter already that we were blowing through. But we had a huge order of glitter on its way that we ordered late December. So they put all that order together. They put it on the ocean and they sent it. But other companies were not thinking about that. And they didn't order ahead for Chinese New Year, which isn't that big of a deal because by then a lot of glitter companies had stock enough to get them through. What not one person, I don't think, in this whole world expected was that not only was China going to shut down for some time, that the world was going to shut down for some time. So we had huge crates of glitter on its way to us where other people were waiting. They had their orders in during Chinese New Year, and then Chinese New Year never ended. So many of my glitter selling friends had nothing for weeks and months, and it crippled a lot of glitter sellers. Luckily, most of them got to bounce back, but we were one of the only companies with glitter. And not only just glitter, a lot of glitter, because we learned from the year before, and your girl over here is a master glitter orderer.
Yep.
That's actually a title that I hold very dear to myself.
That was
Along with chronic curb clipper.
yeah, that was something that I actually forgot a little bit about was, the whole pandemic stuff. It pretty much originated from China and stuff, right? Like we've gotten to that point.
We didn't get another glitter order till
we actually
summer.
heard inklings of like the real severity of the pandemic when, everything was still being downplayed here. 2 weeks, right? To round the, what was it? Round the bend. What was that? To
Curb the something or other?
Days to slow to stop it.
It's like
There
stop
was
the
a
curve
saying
or
that they
slow
did,
the-
right?
There was a saying.
Yeah, forget it.
Whatever. It
Whatever
didn't
it
work.
was.
So anyway,
2 more weeks.
while that was getting pushed over here, we were like hearing from our suppliers, "Hey, is everything okay over there? Because we're all closed. Like we are all locked in our houses."
They kept saying
Nobody's back
Chinese
to the
New Year was
factories."
extended. No
Yep.
one was actually talking about what was actually happening over there. And here, me and, all of us that dealt with it, we were getting the inside scoop. Like, no, we're shut down. We're not allowed to leave the house.
Yeah, it was a big.
We didn't get
yeah.
glitter
I mean,
again.
honestly, they're still not allowed to leave the house right now, which is insane.
We got a huge glitter shipment in January.
Crazy.
We also did 2 trips in January where we actually left the state on an airplane with no mask or anything. And then the world shut down. And we didn't get glitter again, I think, until July, which we ordered in February. We ordered in February because that was what we normally do. And then I really don't think we got that order until like sometime in July. And then the next order, I don't think we got until late in the year either. Because it was at that point, right before the pandemic, everything was so nice. Sea shipping was super cheap. It was literally taking 30 days to get there because at one point we ordered a little too much because we were used to it being a minimum of 6 weeks. But they got that down. Those ships were cruising. Then all of a sudden, halt. Horrible. It's bounced back now, which is great, but I still remember that because if we didn't learn from the Chinese New Year before, we would have not ordered that much glitter ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people had to come back by default and fell back in love with us because we're pretty cool. I don't know if that's the exact reason, but that's what I'm going to say. I'm sure there might be other reasons. Selling glitter's hard. 2020 was a scary moment. And then we were moving. We moved in during the pandemic. I don't know if we touched on that during different podcasts, but that was nuts.
Yeah, we went over
4
one of our
people.
warehouses.
4 people. Mostly me and Patty packing up that whole first warehouse. 'Cause you guys were doing the runs. And now look at it. I feel like, I don't know, I still forget that it's 2023. Sometimes I miss glitter in bags just because of how easy it was to bag it, too. I miss my baggers. I'd have 4 of them lined up, and I was just doing my thing, filling them, catching the issues, cleaning the gunk off, pulling the glitter out, putting it in big bins.
It was a bit of a science.
I love that kind of stuff where you don't have to stop and wait. You just keep doing things.
Yeah, that was I built a
But it was
little raised
messy.
platform out of pallets, and you could set up a little catch under each of them, and then you just had to go and check because they'd heat seal as they came out and trim them, and you just had to make sure that they actually heat sealed because half the time.
Sometimes it would pull the bag in wrong. Sometimes it just would stop sealing. Sometimes glitter would get caught in there.
It would drop too much glitter, and then the glitter would get stuck in the seal.
The doors would get
seal
stuck.
Wouldn't close all the way. Yeah, the doors would get stuck. We have like a room of
Glitter
those
tops.
tabletop glitter bagging machines that are basically just kept just in case because they're so finicky. Be like, oh, they're all broken. This room, I got 20 broken ones in this room. And you go back in that room 6 months later, and 8 of them work.
We brought them machines to the scene too, because before that, people were still funnel and scooping them in the bags. By then, with the scale, because we were doing that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep, we did. It by
Only
hand.
one other company at the time was using those tabletops.
We did the tabletop thing.
I found them, and we told. We weren't secret about anything that we've ever done. We've always been like, oh no, this is the machine that I got, and I would literally screenshot the listing and send it to some of my glitter seller friends back then.
Other than our assembly line, stay away.
Well, that's a little bit more also, involved because that's like a custom built machine. That's not something that I'm prepared to sit down, that I even have the time to sit down and explain to somebody, but
Yeah.
anyone can run out and get an assembly line.
I mean, technically, you just go to a company that manufactures assembly lines and tell them what the production that you're trying to do, and they'll help you work through it. I mean, that's essentially it. Yep. Come up with the system that makes sense for you, and then order it. You spend lots and lots of money on it.
Yeah, well, but it saves.
Well, exactly. That's the growth of industrialization.
It's crazy. It's crazy how far it's become, but I sometimes
in a short
miss
amount of
the
time.
basics.
That was the goal, was to use our growth at early stages, our success at early stages, to create as much growth as possible while we could. So when the market balances out, like it currently has, I'm not like, how am I going to afford an assembly line this year? I don't need to. I have 2 of them because in the previous years when the market was at like 300% its normal capacity, I utilized that time to invest money into the business so that we were in a growth stage. Like, we have machinery that we haven't even unboxed that we've owned for like 2 years.
I want to get it out of the box.
Yeah.
I found the stuff for it.
Yeah, we have so many, but that's the thing, that's having stuff on the back burner while the things that were already working, I don't think is a bad idea. It's like planning for the future. Granted, yes, I want to open that box too, and I want to get into it, but we're so much more focused currently on the projects that we have already in motion that it just doesn't necessarily make sense to put another one in motion right away. But we start getting squared up with all this stuff, then, maybe that's what happens 6 months down the line, and you're in quarter 3 of the year, and this is the new project of the quarter. That's just figuring out how to pace everything and how to spread out your projects and make them not overlap too much is definitely a dance.
Yeah, and setting up your day for the most productivity, that's usually my main goal. I think even if I'm not super productive that day, I kind of go home in a frump too. I'm like, well, I did nothing today. Today was a waste. Might as well have not even gotten out of bed. Really, on those days, I've only done 4 things instead of 27. And I'm like, for some reason, I'm like, I wish I would have gotten to more. I wish there was more hours in the day. But alas, there's not. That's my problem, is I want to do too much in one day. I don't know if that's necessarily a problem. It's not a problem for me.
No, it's
my mind just goes too quick.
There's a word for it, but it's
insanity?
The paralysis or whatever. No, it's
yours sounds better.
Of analysis.
Is that it? Yeah.
Paralysis of
like
analysis.
you think about so many things that you have to go about in your day that it's overwhelming, and you do none of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's like an actual
Very
thing.
much
And
have
it
that.
happens especially, I am sure, to a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners because the plate is never not overfilling. There's no half plates, you know.
A
So
problem I have is that where I have a problem, you actually excel, and I very much wish I could do it that way. If I can't do things in multiples, like if it's one task that involves one thing, I'll put it on the back burner until I can get to it. Imagine that. But if there's a task that I can do 6 things in one shot, then I'll do that first. But those other minuscule tasks sometimes don't get done because I'm like, I'm not going to stop to do one thing. Whereas you'll stop and you'll answer that one email. I won't go to my emails until I know I have 6. You know, it's a problem for me. I won't stop and just answer that one text message. I'll sit down and answer a bunch, but that's not a good point. That's not a good way to do it either because it's not as easy as just answering a Facebook message or a text. Usually it's a conversation. And how many conversations do you think one person can have at one time? Because I'll tell you, I have too many for the brain at one time, all the time. And then sometimes people look at me and wonder why I'm so wired and wrapped up. And I'm like, well, because I'm always doing 20 million things at one time. But that's something that I'm trying to work on is just doing one thing at a time. I don't think it'll ever work, but I also don't enjoy doing one thing at a time, but sometimes it's just better on your mental health.
Yeah. Overstimulation.
I love I think I thrive on overstimulation. But I have to stay there. It's like when you come down off of it, it's rough. It's like, well, what do I do? Where do I go? When I come back from vacation, I'm very much like that. If I have a break and I stop, I'm like, all right, so I don't know how to get started again. It's like jumping double dutch is a good example. You got to like get in there, and then once you get going, you can keep going. But if you stop thinking about something for 1 second, you mess up your foot, you got to start over on the momentum.
Yeah, I don't
know if that was the best analogy, but it's the one I used.
I don't enjoy the overstimulation. I definitely try to hide from it as much as possible. But I'll just jump in and do it if I got to.
Well, someone's got to do the one potato tasks. It makes us a better team, maybe.
Yep. So many tasks.
The expo's going well. I'm getting the supply bags on the way. I've got a list of things that we need to go spend money on. I'm really excited about it. Getting all I've got some really cool things lined up for these supply bags and a lot of things that weren't even listed on them. The teachers are fabulous. We're working well together. We got to get some of them on here and start talking to them. We should bring Taylor on next week. It's been a lot of fun getting to know them too on a better basis because some of these teachers I just watched and gawked at from social media because I'm obsessed with the stuff they make and how they present everything. But now I'm actually getting to talk to them, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I want to bring them on, just to talk really to them about, and then about whatever. I mean, these people are not getting views just because they're good at crafts, because there's an exponential amount of people that are good at crafts. Honestly, there's always someone better than whoever has the most views at crafts anyway. It's never necessarily about that. It's more about the personality and who they are and stuff and how they present it, like you said. So I want to dive in, like Taylor, even in a call that we were talking about, like you said, Duncan, I want to get him in and I want to talk about traffic and views and stuff, because that's something that we were talking about in the phone call outside of the expo. It's just conversation. I mean, that's Taylor's kind of like me. His brain just goes that way. Oh yeah, and then it just keeps going. So honestly,
you ever talk to him on a phone?
A 47-hour episode.
Yeah, you better clear your whole schedule if you talk to him on the phone. I've gone down that rabbit hole a few times.
But I get it too. I mean, if you guys have been listening, I've go off on tangents, and Sarah has to kind of like lasso me back in too. So I get it. But the troubles of views and navigating that and being a content creator and how to get people on your channel and to watch your stuff and just be interested in what you have over the person next to you. Because even the viewership that it is just generally down. And I mean, granted, people aren't sitting at home as much right now, right? No more pandemic, no more working from home, at least not as much. So that's going to take a cut into it. But it's definitely
Coffee delivery. Woohoo!
Coffee too.
Thank you,
Look,
Sean.
that was almost perfect.
That was sweet of him. He's very sweet.
He
Yesterday
wanted to
was
make
his
sure
birthday.
not. He said he was going to ruin it if he came on camera, but we were like,
No, we need to add that in. Coffee
just-
delivery. We need a little
Sean
song
can just
for
be
it.
the coffee boy. Like he could just come in on every episode and just do a little coffee delivery guy.
Coffee,
Yeah.
baby? Of course. Well, that'd be weird. It should be tea, but anyway.
I'm getting him a special little outfit if we're gonna do that.
It'd be called tea time.
Oh my god! I was
Jason
Sean
almost
come in.
spit his coffee
Sean's
out.
gonna come in. I got your coffee, sir.
If he says it like that, I'll die right here on the spot.
He would. I know that he would. Sean, comb your hair to the side and do it.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about. You know what's ironic is the very next week after I was on the phone with Taylor, I'm on the phone with Lauren Quigley, and she was telling me the same stuff about views, but for Facebook. So
Yeah.
it's all over the place that
So-
people, something's happening.
And I think that that's even better is, honestly, we can kind of take that question because most of our teachers, all of our teachers are content creators,
Oh, yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
so everyone has probably their own input on it. I'm sure that we all have kind of similar views on the subject, but everyone kind of brings something different to the table too. I think that was important about how we went with the spread of teachers. Like Taylor's crafts and Lauren's crafts and Katie's crafts and Jessica's crafts are not all the same
No.
at all. Like one doesn't use epoxy,
Yep.
one airbrushes stuff,
Yep.
one does a lot more like school and kid and everything, kind of tailored type crafts in general.
Which one's that?
Katie.
Yes.
She really does.
No,
Everything is very kid friendly
yes.
and stuff. And Jessica is a lot more of that like trendy kind of like, you know, the leopard on like bad bitch kind of vibe thing.
I like the way you just said that. I hope she enjoys the way you summarized that because I very much like that.
At least that's the aesthetic that I get from the things
No,
that
I
she
see
makes.
it. Yeah.
At least that's what I associate leopard with. I don't know if that's like supposed to be it, but like I feel like bad bitch and leopard go together. I don't know. Fuck.
I'm gonna have to tell her how the new title you've bestowed upon her.
Yeah, don't get mad at me for
The
it.
Tumbler
though.
bad bitch. No, her tumblers are bomb. I like that.
Some people take that as like a positive term, and other people don't. So you know.
I think Jessica's got a good attitude. You know, she.
Yeah, I know she does.
You have to be to deal with what we do deal with, and we are lucky enough to grab so many all the teachers. Honestly, they all have great attitudes, and that's probably why we are attracted to them. Because you know me, I'm very much about the vibes. If I got to feel your vibes out first to see if we're gonna like be simpatico.
Mm-hmm.
And I work simpatico. I work well with all these
Think of
teachers.
Justin Timberlake.
Always, every time in that movie.
I gotta utilize the shake technique that Patty taught me to properly mix my coffee.
Is that
you
your
guys hear
shaken
that?
espresso?
Can you hear? Yes. This looked pretty shaken. My last few quote unquote shaken espressos did not look shaken. They looked more like macchiatos. Now I sound like a coffee snob, but
You
I
are a
am little
coffee
bit.
snob. You're 100% a coffee snob. What? Is this the
guess.
part where you tell me that I was going to say?
I
Is this
care
the
about
part?
the coffee that I drink, but I'm
But
not
then
like
there's nothing
I am
wrong with
not like
that.
a coffee connoisseur.
You don't think so?
No, I don't even know. Like I couldn't even name you a brand of coffee bean other
Okay.
than
I
Starbucks
guess that's
or
a good-
Wawa.
It's a good way to separate the two things.
Like a coffee snob would just be coming in here talking about some like crazy Arabica beans or something from like the Green Mountains of Colombia.
What kind of beans?
Arabica, is that something?
How would you
Is
spell that,
correct?
Nate? How would you spell that?
Hang on, let's Google it. It
Arabic-
just sounded correct. Arabica coffee. Boo!
How'd you spell that? What was that noise you just made? What's happening?
That is the sound of success.
Now everyone knows. I'm dead. So how do you spell that word? Does it start with an E?
Arabica. It's spelled just like it
Arabica.
sounds. Arabica.
All right then. Well, now we know. Note that down, you guys.
Not now we know, we always knew. 'Cause
No,
we
I
are
did not.
coffee
That's new.
connoisseurs
You
on
just-
craft tea.
You just went.
We know all things
you just
coffee
raised yourself
on
up
our
a
craft tea
level.
podcast.
one being all of a sudden you are a connoisseur now.
Listen, I need some sort of coffee company that needs a sponsorship to sponsor my shows, because I feel like that'd be hilarious if I had a coffee sponsorship on my craft tea show.
I know one.
Oh my God. You do, don't you? That's funny. I'm not... Listen, I'm not competing in the coffee space, so don't worry.
No, but I'm really excited for this expo, and I can't wait for it to get started. I'm going to be hitting the ground running with the next stage of planning, and that is the Tumbler Awards. I'm going to get all of those categories and stuff nailed down, so I really do need you and Sean to figure out how we're going to put it out there. I don't know. You guys have to figure out how we're going to take the nominees and how we're going to...
It's going to be really cool.
I'm talking about the back end part.
It's going to be cool.
And I'll do the other stuff because I've already started.
Are you just going to do the fun stuff with the red carpet and everything?
No, like decide on what the categories are, decide on how many nominees, decide on how many, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to do the red carpet part, I don't even know what that entails. Just getting a red carpet? Do you have to rent one, or are we going to buy one?
Yeah, I can be the designated carpet guy.
Well, I'm glad you got your job.
No, but I remember what we wanted to talk about, because I know that you were just fishing for something to talk about. That's why you were circling back to the expo.
Well, before it got weird and silent.
No, you banned yourself from Facebook right before the damn sale.
I didn't ban myself.
Yes,
First
you
of all,
did.
Facebook banned me.
No, you banned yourself.
I had nothing to do with that.
You went to Facebook and you were like, listen, people, someone's going to pay today. Heads are going to roll.
No, I literally said that heads would roll if I did a certain thing that I don't do because heads would roll. And ironically,
you're like, listen, I spelled kill with an exclamation point, so that means that it is not.
That's an admission of guilt. I'm just going to put it out there right now that the fact that I spelled kill with an exclamation point instead of an I was absolutely an admission of guilt on my end. I knew that was a wrong comment to put up and that Facebook was going to have something to say, but I really thought I was being sneaky enough to get my word out there. But when it comes to road rage and traffic, I have no stop. I don't know how to pull myself back, and that was the downfall. I wound up getting myself banned over a road rage comment. I commented back to Ryan Blinn and because he said, with my whole big spiel, which is public on my Facebook, you guys can go back and see what I said about people that should be shamed for stopping on the highway because of the sun glare. He said that he wished that he had side roads to go on, and I know where he lives because he lives 2 blocks from us. We do have, luckily, a lot of side roads, so I named White Horse Pike and Black Horse Pike, which do get us to most of the places that we have to go. However, also 130 is a big part of that, and I would probably kill people if I had to take 130 every place in my life. That is why I avoid it at all costs, because I don't want to be a mass murderer. So, ipso facto, I didn't actually say anything wrong because I don't take 130 everywhere. I actively stop myself from doing that.
Now we have all documented motive for when Sarah goes off the rails.
No, I refuse to take 130. I avoided it at all costs. I don't want to be on there with those people. Those people have nowhere to be. All they want to do is find the lane that I'm in, get in it in front of me, and jam on their brakes and go 5 miles an hour and make me nuts. That's all they want to do. They're going to make me get out of my car one of these days, so I don't take 130.
If you guys ever want to know what it's like to be a driver or a passenger in a car ride with Sarah, you're getting a little bit of insight. We have a 6-hour road trip coming up at the end of April. I'm so excited for it.
Road trips I do well because I know that you were in the car for a certain amount of time, and that's just that.
And I'm pulling a trailer. I get excited when I'm pulling a trailer sometimes because I know that you can't yell at me anymore.
There's don't no more, yell at you.
There's no more hurry up and go around this car. There's no more, hey, you know that we can get around them. There's none of that when I have a 24-foot enclosed trailer in the back. It's just, well, I guess we're in the slow lane.
Well, so, and that's the crazy thing is I'll look at those people that are going, I wanted to say the speed limit, but that makes me sound even worse, but, are going not that fast and they're holding up traffic, and I'm like, why? Where do you not have to be? What is going through your head that you're so calm that you could just do 35 miles an hour? Because I physically cannot do that. My body will shake. I need to get out of this car. I need to go get to where I'm getting to. I might not even have anything to do when I get there, but I want to get out of this freaking car real bad. So when I'm sitting there and I'm watching you do it, and I'm like, okay, What are we doing? Why are we going? Why are we staying behind this guy? This guy's a potato. Why are we not moving?
Because everything's fine.
But, like, you are one of those people, and I just don't know how someone's brain can work that way, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a interested way. Interested isn't the word I wanted, but it's what I went with. But, like...
I'm an everything's fine guy. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Half the time it's not, though. I'm just going to put that out there.
Everything's totally fine.
Yeah. You better deal with ADT. That's not fine.
I don't know what that has to do with traffic.
No, the everything fine stuff. You are very much like that. You're like, I'll just ignore it until it goes away.
We can leave the warehouse in 2 separate vehicles at the exact same time. And of all the aggressive driving and frustration and anxiety, we will get home a maximum of 1 minute apart from each other.
Yeah, and
we'll
that's
still be sliding the door open as I'm pulling into the driveway.
But that's not the point, and it's not something that I feel like I can control. It literally is just doing a number of things at one time. So switching lanes and actively physically driving, if that makes any sense to people, like moving around things, making turns. But sitting behind someone and just going in a straight line, I can't do it. That's when I bring out the cell phone. Or, what really helps me is actually singing songs in the car. That's another thing that I do. It takes my mind off what's happening, but I have to be physically doing something. And you see me, how many movies, you could probably name it on one hand, have I actually sat through without touching anything else or moving or getting up out of my seat? Even at a movie theater, I can't do it. I have to do something, or we'll be halfway through a movie and I'm like, I should go check my emails, or I should bring my basket of clothes in here and fold them while we're watching the movie. I have to do something, and I don't know why. I don't know. They're urges. They're actual urges that come in, and I'm like, I could do something else while I'm doing this. It's an ADHD thing.
I think I could probably make a gajillion-dollar invention, and I'll just talk about it now because somebody else can listen and just steal it anyway, because I don't have the time to make it. But now that you're saying that, is that you feel compelled to just do something more than driving while driving, which sounds insane, but I guess in this overstimulated, nutty world that we're in now, I somewhat understand, because this is why already my daughter's obsessed with the little pop, poppity poppy things.
They're fidget things.
I seen probably an 18-year-old at Starbucks working the register, and she couldn't finish in the 10 seconds that I'm a customer there, couldn't not play with that thing. So, I guess everyone's just nuts now. But whatever. Poppy things on the steering wheel of the car so that as you're driving, you can just pippity pop.
I'm curious if that would do it for me. I don't see why it might.
It's just, you said that you need the fidget.
Do that, sing some Taking Back Sunday, and just sit in my own lane, mind my own business. I don't know.
Because I was saying that before I said texture bands. I'll give away all my invention ideas. We'll do a whole nother podcast later of all the inventions that I have in my head because I don't have time to come out with them. Somebody should bring them to the world. Texture bands, right? So there's the same thing, there's a similar idea. I said that you could be able to put them around your wrist, or if you made them stretchy, you could put them around a tumbler, but just have them be a different texture. So you could have leather, you could have the silicone kind of ribbed feeling, or the poppy balls, but it's a fidget thing. You're holding a cup all the time, or if you don't have a cup, if it would fit elastically on your wrist for a wristband and something to just fidget with.
Probably put a little clip in the middle.
Same thing. Well, yeah, a clip that makes it able to go around things. Same thing. That's what I mean. You could probably wrap the same thing around your steering wheel so that while you're driving, you can put on the steering wheel. So yeah, there you go. You're welcome, everybody. Gajillion-dollar idea.
But it's not here, so in the meantime, I just want to get from A to B as fast as possible so I can get out of the car, because that is the one place that is very hard to do multiple things at once, and I don't like being on my phone in traffic. In the car. Not in traffic. Just in my car in general. I don't like being on my phone. And I've very much nixed that habit, probably thanks to my aggressive driving. So now people know a lot more about me and my... I was about to say flaws, but I don't really think they're flaws, because you know what? We have...
Facebook thinks it's a flaw because they banned your ass for it.
Facebook is a flaw.
Just for talking about it.
Facebook is a flaw. And you know they didn't ban me.
Facebook banned you for not even being about it. They banned you for talking about it.
they didn't ban me either. You know what they did? They restricted my access to Facebook groups. That's it. The only restrictions I had was in Facebook groups. That's
And
the
you couldn't
only
go
thing
live,
I
right?
do.
Was it the live? Was it her thing that wouldn't allow us to go live?
But it was going in live in groups.
It was your profile that could not go live to any of your pages or any of your groups.
10 minutes before we're about to go live.
Oh, and I was going to rally. We were all going to rally. Just
Yeah.
kidding. We just wanted to give out some
Makes
sale
sense.
prizes.
No more rising up. So, yep, that was a fun experience to find out. That was
22 minutes before the
sitting-
sale
yeah,
started.
Like Chris was all set up for the shoot in here, and then
which was going to be
and then
15
you
minutes before the sale started. So you
were
knew 6 minutes. Not
sitting-
even.
Yeah, you were at your desk making like a post or getting ready to comment on something, getting ready to go back here. And I was at my desk and you were just like, I just got fucking banned. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then you were like, oh, because of my post. I'm like, oh, Christ. You were a little
Frustrating.
aggressive, weren't you? Yep, that'll do it, though. That's why I don't post, man. I'm a Facebook lurker. I am in the shadows. I rarely make posts or statuses. You boys' band numbers sitting at a hearty 0. I give the bands. I don't receive them.
You don't do nothing. You do some things. You get on my nerves
Yeah.
pretty easily.
We got no Twisted Teas today because I forgot. It's my fault. It was my turn. It was your turn, and you forgot once, and then we did it, and then it's my turn now, and I forgot last. So I think we.
I didn't forget. We didn't get to it. And then I had it for the next week. So you
is that
actually
what
had
it
like
was?
3 weeks to get it done. Just putting it out there.
Jeez.
So.
Yeah, well, I could have went and done it, I guess. Why don't I just read you some?
If you know one real quick.
Yeah, I'll do it. Talk
Oh.
about something. Keep them
Talk
busy.
about something.
Yo, keep the people busy.
You know I'm leaving early today, right? And you're going to have to do the prize live.
Oh, sick. All right.
Been on the calendar for weeks. Sarah,
Hang on, guys.
eyebrow
Good news.
appointment at 1, although it didn't say that's where I'm going. It just said appointment. Gotta get my eyebrows touched up. They're tattooed, you know.
All right. This is like a given.
I got no
These
business
are going to
doing
be
my
kind of
eyebrows.
gimmies. Anyway, here's one. Ready?
Can't wait.
People who think they're attractive are less likely to wear masks, a study shows.
Well, yeah.
That's what I said. That's like a gimme. I feel like, so maybe
Here's
I'll
the
just
money
start
maker.
making,
I ain't covering that
maybe
up.
I'm just going to start using this as an opportunity to read headlines that are just dumb as shit. Because there are so many of them. There's definitely more headlines that I read that I'm like, you're just trying to gaslight people, or duh. You don't agree?
No, I do very much agree.
I feel it's harder for me to find truly interesting like news stories than it is to find stories that people are trying to make interesting that aren't interesting at all. Like saying people that are more attractive don't want to wear a mask. Like fucking.
You know,
dumb.
I've had at least 20 people just in the past 7 days come to me and be like, can you believe that Miss Rachel's taking a break? And I'm like, do you know what
Yes.
she's taking a break from? And they're like, she's taking a break. And I'm like, from
TikTok.
TikTok,
Yeah.
not YouTube.
And-
You didn't even read the article. You just read the headline. Miss Rachel's not taking a break. She's still on YouTube. She's still where she belongs. She's not playing with you guys on TikTok. Some people get real crazy and mean on TikTok.
And TikTok is like the monetization
Sorry, I didn't mean
of
to say-
TikTok is upside down. Like, right? Like, so like if you're going to take a break from one platform, it's the one that you're not cashing in on.
But they didn't put that in the headline because then it would have been done. You wouldn't have had to click the article, but...
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead with your masks.
All right, let's see. What's this other? Bro, that's an old one. Is this? All right, here we go. Technology. This said, she left her 2007. I don't know who she is, so I'll have to open it. She left her 2007 iPhone in its box for over a decade. It just sold for $63,000. Is
Aw.
this something that you know about?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you probably know about tech stuff.
especially in mint condition is.
Oh, I didn't even factor that in real quick. Mint condition. What was it still doing sealed in the box?
And it's
Oh.
kind of stupid, but maybe they're like, hey, when this is long discontinued, maybe it'll sell for something. Little did she know.
How much did it sell for again?
Yeah, the iPhone was auctioned
What
off
was it,
for over 100
63,000?
times more than its original cost. 63 sold for 63K. Yeah. An expert explains how old gadgets became similar to precious metals. All right, interesting. Because
probably this big.
You and I have issues with getting rid of shit. We got so much stuff.
Screen was like 3.5.
I was gonna say it was probably like at least.
I was gonna say, I bet you it was
Black
heavy. I bet you it was
Yeah.
heavy.
Well, it was plastic. Though,
It
so-
was.
So it helped with a little bit of the weight because now iPhones are made of metal and glass. Before it was mostly plastic. And the first iPhone, the CPU was made by Samsung.
Ironic.
More, yeah.
Here we are.
All right. Let's see. Here is.
Look in your drawers.
This one's a little more interesting.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
might not get 63,000, but you might get something.
Snakes, lizards, and desserts meet in Malaysia's first reptile cafe.
Oh,
Our Emily would love that.
she
Miss
really
Emily,
would.
she's obsessed with snakes and reptiles and stuff.
Yeah,
she just
that's
had
all
a
Erica.
snake-themed birthday. Erica, book a trip to Malaysia immediately. Malaysian reptile enthusiast Yap Ming Yang hopes visitors to his pet-friendly cafe will learn to appreciate snakes and lizards as much as they do furrier creatures such as dogs and cats. Interesting. So you can pet snakes and reptiles whilst having desserts in this cafe.
Cool. It's a little twisty.
What do I need? One more?
You don't actually need any. You just
I know, but I like
they're not like
interesting
rules.
ones. Yeah, that's what's funny is I made the rules and I feel obligated to follow them, even though I made them.
You are a selective
worms.
rule follower. I just want to throw that out there. Although you do follow the rules, they are selective.
Oh, this sounds gross. I don't want to read that one. Dogs. Who cares about that? What? This is like a whole segment of me just picking stories.
No, we're gonna cut you in a few seconds if you don't come up with one because we don't actually need 4. But it'd be nice if you come up with something cool.
All right, this one's cool.
We will
This
be
one
the
will
judge
cool
of
for the-
that.
I don't know, man. Like even if I pull up the
Get ready,
What will we
guys. There'll be a
pull it up?
poll afterwards.
Japanese artist turns heads with freaky flesh-like accessories.
Read that again.
Japanese artist turns heads with freaky flesh-like accessories.
Ooh.
So, a Japanese DJ has found a new calling making freaky flesh-like accessories such as severed finger ink stamps, pendants and blinking eyes, and purses with gaping mouths and stubble. Inspired by horror movie special effects, after his
That actually sounds cool.
first artwork in 2017 was pictured on the cover of his debut album, a music mixer wrapped in a silicone flesh coating. Masataka Shishido, also known as DJ Do with like 4 O's, has been commissioned to make dozens of other offbeat creations. In the beginning, almost everyone felt it was gross, Shishido 36 told Reuters, wearing a disco ball with a blinking eye on a chain around his neck. That's funny. Once people learned
Stylish.
that it's an artwork with some specific function, they stated saying that it's cute and interesting. Shishido says art is often made to order by customers who request their own body parts on the items.
They're
He draws
what?
their own body parts. That's interesting. He draws the designs by hand before a Tokyo studio called Amazing Studio JUR takes up to 2 months to turn the concept into reality.
Well, that is I'm going to just assume that's an original idea. I really have no idea, but it sounds original.
They're
But go
not
ahead.
cheap. What would you expect for so let's say
I don't know, $2,000.
do not come cheap. USB devices and the ink stamps in the shape of fingers. While the disco ball, how much do you think the disco ball whatever around his neck costs?
I don't know. 6,000.
$4,500. That was
Oh.
actually not a bad guess.
I was gonna guess 5, but I didn't want to be such an even number.
His
That's not even.
art has
That's
caught the
half.
attention of celebrities. Shudo said American rapper Lil Yachty posted a video of himself clutching one of his blinking balls on social media in 2021. Cool, man.
Good for him.
This is what they look like. I mean, we can pull it up in the thing later, but this is what they look like.
Oh, I don't like that.
I mean, it's like really, really kind of real looking.
Yeah, that's super real. You're gonna send that link to Chris now. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that's gonna be hard to find.
No, his stuff like this.
It's all over the place. Ho mo. Well, you guys can Google DJ Do.
Not hard to find.
It's not
DJ
graphic. It's just
Do.
very interesting.
No, yeah.
I mean,
I
graphic-ish.
guess you could consider it maybe not safe for work, possibly, depending on what your work is.
Oh, I forget that
I mean, like,
that
if you-
that's
if
a
you
work
work in,
thing
like,
because my
Working
Google
like a
history is
daycare,
fierce.
maybe don't open that. Yeah, I don't think that's daycare friendly.
Oh yeah. Do it on your phone, guys. Do it on your phone in the bathroom.
Yeah. I think that'll do it. This week we're going to definitely try to actually get somebody in next week. Duncan or somebody. We honestly really didn't try this week. It was too much.
Well, I was going to do it, but we didn't do this. We don't have the setup.
I know. As I said, we really didn't. There wasn't a lot of effort put towards this process because we had to put effort towards the sale process. But next time, I think we talked about it last time that you might see a different room, but it should actually be a different room next time.
I got it all cleaned up. You just got to put your stuff away.
Yeah, I just got to get it painted and stuff. And
that.
We will catch you guys on the next one. And hope
my
everyone has a
eyebrows
good
will
week.
be touched up by then. A little tattoo juice going through them.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to work.
We're making tea, and when making tea, always bring the pot to the kettle and never bring